Kicking the body on the fake on the bass. Kicking the body on the fake on the bass. Treasure on the fake on the bass. Skin the thing from the bitch when I make it. Skin the thing from my bitch when I make it. Skin the thing from my bitch when I make it.
Yo, what's good? What's good? Shit, man. So I went around. I saw who was live. I saw what videos people was made earlier today. I said, man, don't nothing got nobody, nothing on Red Square. Let's go. Why they keep saying I got no views, bitch? I just went live. That's that bullshit. So yeah, man, I got them joints, man. Welcome to the realest ish on YouTube. Right, it's the realest channel, man. Real time, man. I got real pictures, man. I got real pictures, man. And the realest ish on YouTube is proving stealth civilizations do exist. So I got the pics of real banks. Real shit. Let's get right to it. Let's get right to it. Yo, we out here proving stealth civilizations exist. If y'all don't know what that is, go ahead and be one of the smart ones and go get my books found at the website found in the description. Right? Stealth civilizations do exist, man. Let's go ahead and put it down. Real talk. We get straight to it. Stealth civilizations. Do y'all know anybody who telling y'all about stealth civilizations? Of course not, man. Stop playing with me, man. I don't know what Scam Cheese is saying, man. I don't know what Sa Never them saying, man. I don't know what anybody out there saying, son. I know I got real pictures of some shit. Shout out to them people doing some astrophotography and shit. That's cool. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Fucks with the astrophotography. But this 100% real. We're gonna show you a lot of real shit today in under 2 hours. We're gonna try to make these 2 hour stretches. Let y'all feast your eyes on this shit. I got my stamp on it. Cause I don't fuck with people like that. Real shit. Like I don't care what they talking about. They're not showing you real pictures of people who is inside UFOs. We doing that. We doing that. We showing who's inside the UFOs. We showing you who inside the spaceships, man. Share this shit the fuck out, man. This is one of those we're gonna keep up. This is video number 36. Share this shit out, man. I got hella content. People going to have to respect the process, man. We build things over here. We tearing down deception, building up accuracy. Go ahead, let this shit stay up for a couple more minutes, man. Couple more seconds, man. Matter of fact, let's get to the next picture, man. Let's zoom in on. Yes, that's it. That's them. Get a good look at them. Blue people. They got the little outfits on and shit. Shorty look like she is a whole lieutenant. Shorty a whole lieutenant. While y'all was over there being entertained, I was live over here showing some real shit that can't nobody debate, debunk, or show better than unless they get a blood sample from one of these people. Unless they get a blood sample from one of these people, unless they get like a spit test from one of these people, man. Unless they get some type of you know what I mean? Unless they get some from off these people, man, some pocket change. I don't know, but y'all ready to fuck with the people who got UFOs? Because that's the real trick. They're not black or white. Now people fucked. They're not black or white. They don't give a fuck about black or white. Now people in the world is fucked because they got most of their ideas talking about supremacy. But they ain't never pushed that blue supremacy, son. What we got? Blue supremacy. Nah, I'm just kidding. It ain't. I ain't gonna call it supremacy. But that's a blue giant. I know y'all heard of the green giant. The Jolly Green Giant. Hold up, man. Let's go back to the UFOs, man. They ain't ready for this shit. Y'all is insane for undermining or trying to undermine or underestimating the fullness of the files here at Fringe Pictures with Red Squid X. Look, this shit Fringe. I only did that to be politically correct. This shit is facts figgity for entertainment purposes only. For educational purposes only, man. Don't play with me, man. My bad. Yeah, yo, we out here, man. Look. That's a blue man on top of a mountain. Yo got to be 30 feet tall or more. Probably 50 feet. 50 feet tall. The fuck is he doing? No worry, I got that. Now you know what it looked like. Now you know what a giant looked like. I got more pictures. More pictures of giants, huh? Don't worry. Y'all think this shit too blurry? All right, bet. Check this shit out. Is this blurry? Red Squid X is the only source of real beings. Real beings. Real beings. And I'm using this upload to slap the shit out of all opposition. Y'all need to share this shit out. Share this shit out on other platforms like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Do something good for yourself. Do something good for the universe. Why would you deny the fact that Red Squid X got a picture of a goddamn being from a stealth civilization that nobody else in this effing world got? Because I'm the one that painstakingly watched the video, painstakingly paused at the exact moment that this spinning object was at a clear side profile and zoomed in and screenshotted this shit and got it and pulled it. These people in the paranormal fields, they don't be doing this shit in front of y'all. They are like they don't see what's behind all them colors and light and shadows, but I go in there and I make sure what we're looking at is real. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the face of a phenotype of a stealth civilization. Look, that's a face in that spaceship. Big nose. That's a face, man. You see it? Man, we doing shit. We doing shit ancient aliens wish they was doing over here at Red Squid X. We doing it really big because we the first and we the only people in the world. Pat yourself on the back. We the only ones in the world that actually know what stealth civilization beings look like. In a version of their habitat, which is in their creation, their little device, this little lazy boy jetpack, little capsule aircraft is. It was just spinning around like it was out of control. It was constantly spinning, man. Whoever was in here was pretty much fucked. Unless they had some type of non-spinning stabilizer in there. It looked like they got a goatee for real. Or they look like he might be suffering in that bitch because that shit was just spinning and spinning. But I could see that it's a face in there. It's a face in there, man. It's a person in there. In the cockpit. Here, I'm gonna show y'all what it looked like. See, that's what it looked like. Flying in the sky. You know, I think he was over there in California area. Flying in the sky. Actually, it was hovering. It was in the sky. I think was it falling down slowly? It was like high up and it was spinning around. Like it was spinning like a top. Like if somebody, like a human was in there, they'd be dizzy as shit. Like they going out of control. It looked like it was out of control. It looked like it was out of control. And shit, he was in a spin. He was in a goddamn spin. He was in a spin. I don't know, but that's whoever it was. That's what they look like. They was getting spun out of control. I don't know who it was, but that's proof of a stealth civilization. A civilization. I'm gonna let the AI tell you. Computer. What is a stealth civilization?
A stealth civilization is a theoretical concept suggesting a secretive society with advanced, hidden technologies. It's often linked to conspiracy theories about elite groups hoarding breakthroughs in energy, transportation, and other fields.
Yes, Lord. Deity is referred to. Who created that term?
The term stealth civilization doesn't have a single creator. It's a modern concept that blends ideas from science fiction, conspiracy theories, and speculative discussions about hidden advanced societies.
I thought it was author R.M. Jackson, Robert M. Jackson.
I don't have specific information about R.M. Jackson coining the term stealth civilization. The concept seems to be more of a modern blend of ideas rather than having a single originator. I couldn't find any evidence that R.M. Jackson.
Okay, computer. Okay, thank you very much. Don't even say anything in response. Just go ahead and exit, please. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Red Squid.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, so put this on my belt because I'm the one that's saying it and I published that shit. And so I published that shit like 2-3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. I published that shit. And yeah, stealth civilization, man. It's in the books. It's in the books. It's in the books. And so land beyond the ice walls or the unknown places and the subterranean and the moon, etc. Those are the 3 places where you'll find a stealth civilization. Underground, far away, or up in space somewhere in another place. So that's Red Squid X right there. That's Red Squid X. And so check it. This is a being inside a craft, right? That has been exposed and revealed to others by a YouTube scholar. Me. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. YouTube scholarship. And check it. When you share this out to someone else or tell somebody to look at this shit, that's going to show that you too are a YouTube scholar. You too are a scholarly person that interacts with social situations, and you promote truth and honesty, and you promote integrity, like, you know, the true content of righteousness where you deserve to have integrity, right? Like, you know, it's warranted. No, you know what I mean? No Diddy. You know what I mean? Like, we talking about, you won't be lying to anyone. You'd be saying, hey man, check this shit out. There's people out here that live out here, but they're not trying to be seen, or they're not trying to be known about for how they are. You know what I'm saying? Because I think this was somewhere in California. And so that don't mean that the person is from California or whoever this is. You know what I mean? If it is what I think it is, I think it looked like it's a face right here, but I could be mistaken. What does it look like to y'all? It look like it's a face of someone who's sitting in some type of chair, and they is like controlling this vehicle, like they sitting down in a cockpit, and we can just see his head, where his shoulders and his body sitting down controlling this thing is behind the, you know, the object. It's kind of like a wingless helicopter or bladeless helicopter of some sort, like a mix between a hoverboard, a jetpack, and some type of, you know, automatic airplane. And so I guess he was trying this shit out, or he came across technical difficulties and he started to spin, if that's what I'm looking at. I don't know. Maybe it's pareidolia. but I wouldn't be surprised if it was true. You know, if I had a lot of dreams and one of them dreams had told me that there was these people that was technologically advanced and that they was basically like small hats, but they was like hidden from the rest of the world. Like we didn't know that there was so many of, and that there is like a whole situation and shit instead of like a minority that they're playing pretending to be on the surface here. And so, you know, this would align with that vision I had because it looked like a small hat in the sense of he looked like an ancient American small hat with the big ass nose that connect to his skull and shit, like the Mayan joints. And then it looked like he got this Phoenician beard down here that would take him back to the Anunnaki and the Persian origins of the Mediterranean things, right? So I don't know where if this is the eye or not, and that's his nose, but it's proof of a stealth civilization because it's a UFO. It's technically a UFO. I just zoomed in on it and and like, you know, highlighted it and stuff. And so I caught a face there. It's a face. I don't know if I'm going up or down. I think I'm going up. I'm so high. I mean, no, I mean, I don't know. This is not the first time that shit happened where I just didn't know if I was scrolling up or scrolling down. It's crazy. It's fun. It's fun. It's not bad. So this shit was spinning, right? What if that motherfucker? I mean, if I'm looking at it wrong, you know, what if I'm looking at it wrong and I'm not seeing the right shit? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Look, they said, somebody had a UFO encounter and they said that this person on the right, it took them on a spaceship. The white person, white dude in America, United States said. He was a police officer. A police officer had said this shit, right? I think he was over there in the West, like Texas, some dumb shit way out there. Right? Arizona, some shit. This meatball say that he got, he pulled over to look at this thing. And they pulled up on him and shit and telepathy wise spoke to him and told him to you know what I mean, and showed him took him to this took him on a little ride and showed him shit. And so he believed later on that because he was what they call it, he was nipped as a man. They gave him a vasectomy. Well, he had a vasectomy already when they picked him up. And so when they learned, like on the ship, I guess they gave him the little medical rundown. And when they learned that he had a vasectomy, they dropped his ass back off on Earth. And so that means these space Jews is freaks, man. And they try to get you. They would have got his seed, made clones out of him, and then I don't know, man. They ain't had no use for him. Like he ain't had the ability to procreate, so they didn't want him, and they dropped the dumbass back off. And so that tells us a couple things. One, they ain't got no type of way to determine if somebody got a vasectomy or not prior to them interacting with them. So that means they not that smart. Two, they do make mistakes because they would go through a whole orientation and then find out that that shit was a waste of time. 3, that they don't really care for humans. And if they did, they only cared for them for some whatever selfish reasons that don't benefit people. Right. And for 4, they got the ability to do that. They will hop out on somebody if they, you know what I mean? If the timing was right, I suppose, in their eyes. But they will also see a person. They also will like just drop people off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so they could be behind a lot of abductions and shit. Missing 411 is a show made by Dave Pilates, whose career is based on missing peoples and events happening in forested areas in the United States and Canada and stuff. And so United States though, but yeah, it's a thing where the Native Americans had probably made that, which we see on the left. I don't know what. Like it's something definitely older than the Native Americans. It's a concept that go on beyond what we think of as Native Americans get a lot of credit for nothing. Because when you really do the work on the research, you'll find that it's more complicated than that. So we're going to try and make it simple, right? We're going to try this the rest of the this is from that story on the left, and the picture in the middle is also from that story. He said the spaceman appeared to be 4.5 to 5 feet tall. 4.5 to 5 feet tall, son. The man's proportions were normal. Looking down, the eye would normally see a picture of a person with a large head and small feet, but the conscious mind compensates for this perspective. What? So that means in real life, he was a big head ass alien with small feet, but they had put that Jedi mind trick on him, and it looked like a little handsome short man. I wonder they got something to do with Shrek. So we're gonna see the patterns here now as they go by from slide to slide. Some of it might seem a little erratic, but that's kind of like the point now. You know what I mean? We kind of want to, if it's a pattern, we'll see it. If we'll vote yay or nay anyways. We'll vote yay or nay anyways. So the truth of the matter is that Aboriginal people is who built the Tartarian-like structures around the world that we call the Greek and Roman style structures. You know what I'm saying? Because the concept of building in the methods and ways and concept altogether originated in lands that most of it is sunken under the water, right? And remnants would be concepts like what we think of, like how Atlantis is sunk out under the water. The remnants of this place would be like Southeast Asia, the islands, Melanesia, Pacific Islands, Japan, Taiwan, like, you know what I mean, Hawaii, Samoa, Philippines, you know, Guam, you know what I mean? Like all them places, right? When you go down to Southeast Asia, Indonesia, right by Australia, you would get a place where Graham Hancock said the oldest pyramid is Nam Padang. And the oldest pyramid, according to his estimates, is 50,000 years ago. The last ice age in Atlantis was both at 12,000 years ago. So 50,000 would pretty much be older, obviously. And so that could put back concepts of these buildings even further. If it all began in Nam Padang and then spread out toward the east or the west or both at the same time, or in the north, and what was considered all the places, they went around the world and built up the place. So they all work, and they're all contemporaries of themselves. Well, they're all contemporaries of each other. So I think it's a concept of some type of overload of energy, electricity, some type of blown fuse concept that changed things, perhaps even maybe a flood changed things. Either way, you got traditions, patterns, and rituals. You know, you got style, swag, culture that echoes, you know what I'm saying, each other. And so I'm not, you know what I'm saying, I'm not talking, I'm just joking when I talk shit about other people, like if they YouTubers, but if they not, I'm probably dead ass serious. I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying I could do what I want. And this right here is, it shows you the connection that so-called whites have with so-called Orientals. Because, you know, Germany, which you see on the right, is, you know, considered a Nordic concept, and, you know, where a lot of ignorant people would consider that to be white race, pure white race, you know, all the rhetoric and ideologies from Nazi Germany, Hitler, and his propaganda, right? Not backed up with a lot of evidence at all. So, but that area and Orientals is so friendly and connected, and they have these patterns that echo on their level the same way. It makes you think, well, they must have been definitely, uh, you know, they must be closer than their appearance leads them to be, because by appearances, we could think that the Nordic, the Scandinavian deserve to be considered a separate race than the Altai Mountains and people of East Asia and Siberia and things, right? But really they the same people, like the Aryans and the Jewish people is of the same people, call themselves Germans. So the Turks, the Goat Turks, Gok Turks, something like that, is related to these people. These people related to people riding reindeer in Siberia. And so those people riding reindeer in Siberia is related to the people riding reindeer in goddamn Norway. So wherever they ride reindeer. They ride reindeer. They're like, you know what I mean? If they not on their Eskimo shit, they on some war shit. They on some war shit. And so they must be relation that came afterwards, this Genghis Khan versus Prester John concept, where these people is the progeny of Africa. You know what I'm saying? Those Asians are a progeny of Africa, and so they must have been different than modern day Orientals and Native Americans. And so we see people in the Andaman Islands that probably had a more pure blood when it came to original Asiatic black man, woman, and child. You know what I'm saying? That when you'll see an Andaman, a Sentinelese Islander, those people look like the black Chinese, original black Asians of Asia. The Buddha statues and shit. The black Buddha statues. Those are the Andaman people. You know what I'm saying? So look, no, they're not. The Andaman people is the remnant in which we can still see what the original Asians looked like. So you know what I mean? Let me correct myself, right? What I mean is the Andaman people is how we can still see what them original Asians looked like before they was regulated as a population to what we consider the Andaman Islands, Sentinel Islands, you know, things like that. So let's be clear. You know what I mean? That we know that the concepts of civilization issued amongst the land, over the land. You know what I mean? And it was like, you know, it was common sense, the stuff that we trying to find out and piece together now. Back then, it was just common sense to people. That's the Phoenician god Baal in the middle. That's an Egyptian on the right. That's an African on the left. All right. African tribal, African person in continental Africa. So what you can see here is that the hat style reflects the hairstyle, right? And so there's certain crowns by the ancient Egyptians that reflect the actual hairstyle that you can find, I think, in Ethiopia. And so Ethiopia is considered the northern kingdom. Ethiopia is old Egypt. And what we consider the country Egypt today would be considered southern Egypt or new dynasty Egypt. New Egypt or a newer version. Well, not even that. It's really an extension of, but the land that we call Egypt today had more contact with foreigners than the land of Nubia, Kemet, what's the one? Ethiopia. So Ethiopia was called the entire land, though. So Kush also was named for that region. So we'll call it present day Ethiopia, right? So what happened is that really Salem was out there as Jerusalem or before Jerusalem. Jerusalem is one of the oldest names in the world. And the reason why people even got language and civilization is because of Jerusalem and things that are related to the scriptures, because that's how people kept a consistent education, a consistent memory of having an educated, civilized mind. And that came through interpretation of scripture. So everybody was a practitioner of studying the Torah and studying other scriptures and things made by prophets and people that people believed and think in. And people always debated the legitimacy of interpretation or the legitimacy of writing by others. And that is like the very earlier versions of, what was seen as fun, right? Intellectual fun, right? Like that was an intellectual arena. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? So yeah, we could see that this Phoenician artifact on the right is an exact replica of the outfit worn by that warrior on the left, who is from where is he from? He's from the Pacific Islanders. He's from those areas of Nam Padang and where they say the oldest pyramid in the world is, the oldest and the largest. And I forgot the name of their little culture and shit. Now when you see them, they look like a bunch of dark-skinned Chinese people. But really, what you're seeing is, people that was looking like the Andamanese that was been mixed down with Asians or so-called Orientals that we know of now. You see? And so I don't know I don't know what that is exactly, what we should call that. But there's a couple of groups going around. You know what I mean? There was a whole bunch of people that was made. Now we could look at the traditions that this watered down brother done continued on with, and we can say that, all right, that swag was going on since goddamn on Nimrod. And that's you damn near the beginning of the earth and shit and humans all together any damn way. Because Nimrod was like the great mighty hunter before the Lord. And so I don't know, I forgot where he was. When the time he was, but yeah, we can see that Africa and Asia, they retain a connection, and it's so uncanny, the connection, that it makes you want to think about it. It makes you really want to ponder on it and ask yourself, ask God, like say to God, like ask, like, how this makes sense. Because there on the left is what you call one of the original Khoi people or San people or the Khoisan people. I forgot. I think it's the Khoi people, and then the San people is what they known of. But really it's the Khoi that's older. Shout out to the queen, to the empress out there. You know what I mean? She was from over there, man. She had told me what it was. So it's like the Khoi people and the San people are two different people, but the world be saying the Khoisan as if they was one people. Something to that effect. And so all I know is that, they're portrayed they're portrayed as like a light-skinned people, but really, you know what I mean, the original Bushmen was dark-skinned. They got dark-skinned versions of them, but they just don't be on camera as much. And when you go down there and you see like the koi, like the people representing for the San people or whatever like that, it's like they're like white people that's mixed. They got a little bit of African in them and shit. They look like El DeBarge. And they the leader of the damn, the San people or the revolution or some dumb shit. So it's like, it don't matter, right? Because we already know what it is. Of course, that's probably one of the great deceptions, though, is to try to say that these San people was out here and they naturally brown, and it was later on that they had mixed with other tribes that got them where they is darker. So, they say they the oldest people in the world. And so they say they the oldest people in the world, and China has the longest continual national consciousness in the world. Amongst all the other countries and nations and people, China has been the most stable consistently for over 6,000 years of straight up records of their government going on. So think about that. You know what I'm saying? Africa even older than that. So they had to burn some shit down to get it to where it's like it is now. Where now them people that was used for warriors and shit, their descendants continue on their traditions of their ancestors as warriors, but nowadays like farmers, and they just tend the land, they just own the land, they just own the land, right? That their ancestors had took, stole, or squatted on, or whatever have you, and they just over there now. Look at him. He don't remember that shit. That's him probably in the ancient times and shit, reincarnated. Nowadays, he just a confused son of a bitch. But what you can see is a consistent. Egypt is older than China. The fuck is they? Egypt older than China, and the people that ran China was called the black-headed people. And then blackheads is what they call on the coat of arms and shit. They call them Moorhead. So check it, man. Look, here you got a person that's got the same hairstyle as somebody on an ancient Egyptian hieroglyph. Let me remind y'all that it is the same Egypt where they say they got mummies and shit. They got all type of shit buried in the sand. They even found a whole bunch of like space down below underneath all the pyramids and sphinx. And so everything else in the world must be a distraction, because it would have made sense to go out there and investigate what that shit was. Go bring up all the sand and all that. But this is show you that this is a consistent tradition, a consistent culture, Mark, that has survived for more than 6,000 years. So we talking about like intelligence written within a cultural code that is subtle. And what I found out was that Aboriginal, indigenous, native peoples use, or most likely have, a spirit guide that's one with the universe more than people give credit for, to guide them designing the things that they've done when it comes to their body language and the power of the vision of the eye. So let's look at this for example, right? Technically, if you take the two circles of this woman's earlobes, right? That's the squatter man, and she would be coming up out that circle. And so the squatter man really is a woman because it represents the earth. And so that probably is why they even came out with the concept of squatter man, because it would take away from the truth that is feminine energy. That's the dominant planet energy, because the Father is in heaven. Thank you, Father. So the concept of a fez come from a woman. The concept of an apron come from a woman. And so what these people in Freemasonry is doing is wearing articles and pieces of clothing that represent cross-dressing. Because in voodoo and Santeria and all that, they got to wear a whole wedding dress and be inducted amongst the women of voodoo and shit. Like the men, when a man go through the voodoo, he got to go through the woman passage. And so he got to dress like a woman and shit, all this and that. And so later they would say elsewhere that is Thor dressed as a woman. So it's become a whole story. But you can see how this talks about consciousness, because she rises up through the North Pole hole, which would be the top of her hat. And that would be her consciousness rising up, or her higher self would be on the other side of this part where her hair represents. You see that? Isn't that interesting? Right? It could also be she's the sperm going into the egg. You know what I'm saying? And that's powerful, isn't it? That's tough. Because as sperms, it'd be male and females in them joints. And people don't know what it's going to be until after the egg is inseminated. And then you have it to where the grays, or the concepts that we call aliens and zetas and grays, they is really like robotic sperms. No homo, no diddy. There's robotic sperms, and they is like robotic sperms, but you see that they is genderless, and they do things that's smart. Anyway, so let's move on. So even though we see people that look like this guy in the middle with a swag that look like it's all on his own, and that's some shit that they came up with because they was bored. Right? The oldest shit that they got going on go back to a one world universal language that you'll find around the world with people who had kept that tradition going. Right? And so so then people could either say it's a coincidence or it's not a coincidence. And so I'm saying it's not a coincidence. And that when you see these Haitian brothers and this so-called Moor of Europe with this red fella, and these red fellas, and that how it's not a coincidence that this Indian dude in the middle on one of them islands over there by Hawaii and shit got one too, because I'm telling you that it's because of the oldest system in the world that he even got this tradition. And it ain't his shit. He trying to keep it real. And he going through and passing down the only thing he knows. So he ain't trying to compete. So we can see from a distance that, all right, they got the red top. And so that must mean that they is the one that's saying that they is conscious of a bloodline, of a blood pool, right? Ain't an egg like a pool of blood, like the sperm get into the egg, it jump into the pool of blood, right? So they is conscious. Back in the day, this was a signal because clothes wasn't so easily available in the way that they are amongst, say, rich people. And so they had these symbols that were signals that people of wealth and knowledge could see from a distance and know to go amongst them. There were symbols, signals, and they were straight stunting. Like that shit. This brother on the left, on the right, must have been just stunting on people. People might have hated to see him. That's the king. That's the king right there, man. Come on, yo. How would it not be? He do got a turban on, so I don't know. That's probably the first time I ever seen a crowned out turban. The crown is on top of the turban. How about that? The crown is on top of the turban. You got to translate the picture. So in the movie Excalibur, this man, Arthur, his son that he had made with his half sister, came back with an all gold suit on, and it was kind of like this. It was kind of like a muscle forming. Let's go see if we can find it real quick. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, okay. It did simulate some muscles. I remember that. That shit simulated a bear. That shit simulated a bare body. Look, I ain't never seen no shit like that before when I was a youngster. Like I like nights and things like that, and I would love to watch and look at you know, their uniforms and their different suits of armor and shit. And they were like some of the coolest books to read or look at when it came to pictures. Right? They had like the knights books and shit. They were the knights, and so I ain't never seen no shit that was shaped like, muscles and shit and stomach and like a bare chest. And I just remember that movie, man. He ended up killing Arthur and shit. They killed each other. It's something like that movie. It's something like that movie. Beowulf. So all right, the Australians do it. The Hindus do it. The Egyptians did it. And Steven Spielberg think he funny. Steven Spielberg think he funny with that shit, son. Making a black alien and shit like that, looking like goddamn Harriet Tubman. Steven Spielberg ain't funny, and then he made the white boys with the fez and shit. whitewash shit. Look, they claim the same. So they must be talking about bloodline, blood pool, genetic family, royal family, a social circle. Their social circle, the blood son. That should say 1135. They said the Islamic is 700 years off or some dumb shit. Like that shit didn't never make no damn sense. They not no 700 the fuck years off. Who does that? This happened in 1135. They took this picture. This man looked like a damn, this is a regular person. Look, they got bags like this now today. Man, purses like this, look. That's some shit they had back in the day too, yo. Hell yeah, man. A pouch. You know what I'm saying? A pouch, man, in 1100s. Forget all that shit that they saying. All that shit was because of Islam had different time scale, man. Forget that. Look, he got shot in the head. Yo got shot in the head. Yo got this with this red shit. And that's holding down. It's holding a hat. It don't look like it's like she pointing at it like, yo, your head bleeding. Yeah. The point is, man, look at that. Looking at that, yo got on that blue shit too. Yeah. So the picture you see on the right, that's a dark-skinned person with blonde hair. With the same type of hat on that is so-called red-headed small hat. He got on. He goes some shit from China. It's either Korea or China. It's one of them places over there in Asia. So those might be the only reaches I ever did. This right here makes sense because this is concepts that we just looked at. Pretty much everything that you find Asians doing, if it's true and real, that shit can be found also in Africa. Yep. So look, that's a small hat inside out. That's a black hat called a gap by Koreans. No whole shit. Look at that witch hat. That shit was black. That's a small hat, and that's a big hat. You know, those are like medium-sized hats. But one is a hat and one is a scully or a skull cap. Right? Ashawama wake them. No, don't wake them yet. But The motherfuckers want to have the wrong idea about somebody and go to an extreme. Like there wasn't no jails and shit over there. That's why they used to it. They used to wild somebody out, and then they just don't stop. You ever seen monkeys kill another monkey? That's what mob violence look like. There ain't no difference, except for people got a job to go to the next day. If they ain't the ones getting their ass whooped. Look at these people. These people want to fight. Like, which food do you want? Do you want halal or do you want kosher? Both of them act like they eat some of that other piece of animal, man. That's fucked up. Like that's their culture. There's some pieces they don't eat. There's some things they don't eat. They gotta fast and shit. That's why most of them skinny. Not all of them, but they fast and shit. They be starving themselves, and then they eat with their hands. They don't have no, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I just say throw it all away, Lord. Yeah, when it comes to religions and shit, man, I'd say everybody got their right. But I just say throw that shit away and just worship God, man. Look at this meatball. That's an ugly son. But they made them. That's an ugly meatball right there. Turn it. Worship God, man. Don't get caught up with these gangs, mafia lodges, and whatever else they got. Dark robed. Dark robe. Look, dark robe. So it's the same shit. Dark robe. Snow White and Star Wars. Watch out for the dark robe. You know what I mean? If you don't know the symbols and shit by now, I don't know what you know. Do you know the symbols by now? Do you know what the symbols is? There it is. These are people that got them mosaics and shit. They say it's Black Jesus. I think it's just really they little paintings had spoiled because of some type of some type of way how old it is or something. They just I don't know. They just said that they was just black people. Or maybe that they was just, tanned up back in the day. Russia was a little warmer and shit. And so they just had a natural bronze to them. Or maybe they all related to Trump and his bronzer that they had put on the little paintings and shit to give them a little color. Or maybe it was just some of the earliest versions of self-hate by newly formed Christians out of the groups of people that crawled up out of the cave, and they showed that these people was willing to mix in with the civilized populations of melanation and make some people looking like Beyonce and Drake. And that's what it's all about, where Christianity is where these people could come together and make something happen. And that's why you got light-skinned Ethiopian art down there in Africa, even though in reality, the true original rulers of that area, the land of Oxum, was the Zegwe people, and they are tall, dark-skinned people, and not your, shorter, big-headed, light-skinned Ethiopian. And so, whatever country out of those Horn of Africa countries that the worldly countries support, like the Islamic world support, is going to be the one that's the latest footprint against Africa as a whole, because it's with Ethiopia, in which these people don't went to war with their concept of Christianity. You know what I'm saying? And trying to war with what they call the concept of Islam and the concept of Gnosticism and the concept of Satan all together. And so let's say these people would be related to kind of like how the people in Latin America idolize, false images of Christ as white people. So does these people. You know what I mean? So does these people, man. They got white Jesuses and shit. And I don't know what their explanation is for Black Jesus art over there. That's all the way in Russia. These people in effing Russia. That's a Russian. That's a Russian priest. That's a Russian priest. Look what the fuck he got on. He got on that shit. Like they own, you know what I mean? Come on, man. Like all these religions is talking about the same shit. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take it to another level. I'm gonna take it to another level past that. I gotta put. I'm gonna take it to another level past that. Let's go to. Oh, I put the wrong damn shit. Let's go to. I'm gonna go right to it too. I know where it's at. Check that out. That's a judge. That's a priest. And that's a college graduate. How about that? A judge, a priest, and a college graduate. That's pretty important. That's pretty important. Right? A judge, a priest, and a graduate. It sounds like a bar joke. A judge, a priest, and a college student go into a bar. You know what I'm saying? Real shit, man. A judge, a priest, and a college student walk into a bar together. There it is. See that? They got that's the same shit. All this religions. That's Islam. That's Judaism. Oh wait, these both might be Islam. Oh yeah, they're the Judaism. They go Judaism, so to speak, Islam, so to speak, Satanism, so to speak. I mean, Gnosticism, so to speak, Christianity, so to speak. It was the civilian life, so to speak. What is that? Like, that's regular dumbass, so to speak. Where the fuck is this guy feet at, man? I ain't got no feet. He just ain't got none. Yo, footless bastard. So they go the ones that see, we're going to continue on. They go the judge, the graduate, the priest, and the banker. When the banker wear all black, now why he look like a monkey? Why they look like some monkeys, man? Oh my God, it's some monkeys. The monkeys on the bench, the new kids on the block. Holy shit, son. He look like a real Neanderthal, man. This meatball is a Neanderthal, man. The Neanderthals on the bench. On some banker shit. Oh, yeah, we gotta get that picture right there, son. That's a Schnauzizar. That's a Schnauzizar. That's a Schnauzizar, man. That's a great, man. Listen, that's a nose on them, man. We don't just look at it on our investigative shit. We just gonna look at it. No disrespect, no harm to us. Fuck his dumb ass at? Where your fucking face at? Ugly bastard. Can't even fucking see. Okay. Check this out. God damn. Oh, that's too close. That's too close. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't do that. That's too close. Too close. Too close. Shut that shit down a whole lot. That's too close. God damn. Check that nose out, y'all. Mm. That's a strong one. That's a snake nose, man. It's a reptilian. everybody be talking about that dang on reptile. Am I right? Let's go ahead and let's see. Let's see this. Wait till I do this. Oh man, that's gonna be fire. Hold on a second. No. Yo, dumbass will get no time of airtime. That's funny as heck. So Shorty on the Beast is Shorty on the Beast. Shorty on the Beast. Let's go. All right. So going back, you see He stole that's that. They say he stole that screenplay. He stole that. Yeah, can I talk? They say he stole Sinners to win all them dumb Grammys and shit. He stole that idea. Just like a Jew, right? See how it don't matter if they white or black? When it's applied properly, you're talking about a satanic cult, not a religion of the Jewish people. They only, it'd be better if they like change, if we wrote it differently, you'll see that it's a chameleon hiding. It's like me coming up with some shit that says Christian, but it's spelled differently. But it's still, when you say it, it say Christian. So, anyways, the concept of the black top come from having a shadow over one's head or coming out of a cave. Stealth civilization, son. Stealth civilization, yeah. That's what it's all about. Stealth civilization. So a people, a nation, people, species, race, group, cult, anything that is like living amongst so-called quote unquote regular people, but in secret, hidden from plain sight, stealthy. A stealth civilization. Yeah, we deal with them. Who the fuck give Raspy respect? I don't know. His homies on B2K, I guess. But to see Raspy coming out here flexing on Orlando Brown that year, it was sad because like chumps, they get, you know what I mean, chumped and shit, and then try to act hard and shit. It's just not genuine. They be the most reckless because they be trying to, they be put in this situations trying people they think, Orlando Brown, he bat all the way down because he's such an actor. He was respecting this actor's game or whatever. I mean, they both was like people that claim to have been molested by their producers or by people in the industry. And so this guy Raz B was in China for like 10 years or some shit where he broke away from the group. The group B2K broke up. And he went to live in China and shit. He going through it looking like a crazy person, but what he was probably was getting dingling down by them Chinese oligarchs. Found him a little Chinese market. You know what I'm saying? And then he came back over here because nobody wanted to F with his ugly ass. He was getting violent with them Chinese sales. You know what I mean? He was out there, them Johns, screaming down on the Chinese giant. Then come over here and act like anyways. Real beings. Real beings. Real beings. Mixed up with some other pictures. Real beings, man. Real beings. Real beings. Matter of fact, it's hella beings. How long we been here for? 2 hours. All right, that's it. 2 hours, man. That's it. It's 1:13 over here, man. Real beings, man. We got beings for days. Definitely could have kept going. But yeah, man. I do got these picture of the giants on the tall white giants over in South America. Oh yeah. I was trying to find Shorty. That's right. That's right. That's right. Thank you, y'all. I appreciate it. No whole shit about it. Here go the giant as a reward. This is a video. This is screenshots from a video footage. And so I just took a bunch of screenshots, and this giant person was running around the face of this mountain. Tall individual, maybe 16 or more feet tall, 12 foot tall. 12 foot tall. He might have got out the island. You know what I mean? Tall giant walking on a mountain, 12 feet tall. Red Squid X. Middle finger to the haters. Yo, that's funny, yo. That's real shit, though. I mean, that's really real. And that's what the disclosure day is. Damn, that's what I wanted. I want to do a counter. I want to counter a movie, yo. I like want to just like counter a movie. Right? Like Disclosure Day, Passion of the Christ. What I really want to do is rewrite a lot of these bills before I do them again or do them again rewritten. So I should go try to find Babylon. You know, get Babylon. Oh, that's kind of like 3 of them using the scarab. So we're going to take this one. The scarab strong. Remember I said that scarab was the symbol, man. It was the symbol. That's the facts. Matter of fact, let's do it like like that. Oh man, that's numero uno right there. And so from there we have to we add this concept. We add this concept. To do with it. Moral revolutions. Is this getting convoluted? Wow. So that's the concept of the sun worship. And that would be saying that the sun worship, man, it's related to the insectoids because the insectoids is the ones that the sun bring prey for their food or something. So that would be number one. It ain't really. That's all. That's hold on. All right. So this is how we do it. Oh, it's my headphones just down. All right. Is it me or I don't hear nothing? Oh yeah, I turned it off. That makes sense. All right. He's the same back. He's like Dos Equis. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I might not use that. Yo, only because I'm looking for this picture, man. It's, Uh, oh shit! Excuse me. That was nasty too because it was kind of pretty. It was like I just didn't stop. It was coming in. I didn't stop. It was. I tried to check for the mic, see if it was on or not, because then I was going to say nothing nasty. I apologize. You gotta balance out shit sometimes, you know. You're gonna get used to the clean image.